So I'm going to head up through there. That's a holm oak forest that overlooks Ventnor Downs. Sorry, overlooks Ventnor. The holm oaks themselves don't really get many birds, obviously, but kind of break through the forest. When you walk east, that's the way I'm going to go, out onto the chalk downs. We're now under the dense canopy of Ventnor's holm oak forest. It's pure holm oak, nothing else grows in most of this area, and very little grows beneath. Basically, apart from ivy, I think that's essentially the only other species. There's an orchid under here, but apart from that, it's a horrible, sterile desert in my opinion. It's south-facing on what used to be chalk grassland. Just coming to the eastern edge of the hideous holm oak woodland. Getting out of breath. But you can see just between the trees some nice chalk grassland. Finally, out of the National Trust's holm oak, looking north, scanning round. Now we're looking east, so this is all high south-facing chalk grassland, special area of conservation as well as a site of special scientific interest. So absolutely stunning chalk grassland, all owned by the National Trust and very well managed by the National Trust, in my opinion. Easily my favourite habitat. South-facing chalk grassland. Quite a lot of rock rose flowering. Just had a very manky looking grizzled skipper. Absolutely superb. Still quite early, it's kind of late May, so it's not at its kind of flowering peak. Looking back west towards the holm oak forest, and then there's Ventnor down there, looking south now. So this kind of edge where the gardens along Leeson Road kind of meets the downs here, this edge is really good for spotted flycatchers and redstarts. I once had a singing common rosefinch, or at least what I 99% sure was a rosefinch. The trouble is I was with a bird, Andy Butler, and he couldn't hear it, so I couldn't really do anything with it. It was a bit distant, it sounded like it was in one of the gardens just below, further along. That was a shame, but as far as I'm aware, no bird has come here at all, which is a shame because it could be superb. There's Ventnor again. We come into a much more wooded Bonchurch, looking south. I wouldn't bother birding in Bonchurch. It can be quite good in late autumn once the tit flocks have already formed and a lot of the birds are moved from up here on the downs into the undercliff. And if you hit a tit flock, you might get yellow-browed or obviously firecrests, but that's about it really in Bonchurch, just because it's so wooded, so difficult to work. Although probably my best Isle of Wight bird, crag martin, April a couple of years ago was over the East Dean Centre in Bonchurch, just over there, early April. And that year, what I presume was the same bird was seen up north in the Northern Isles somewhere, and then came down and spent a day or two, I think, or more in Chester city centre, I think it was. But I assume it's the same bird, maybe not, who knows. That was rejected. I did actually submit that record, but it was rejected because, what did they say? I think because I didn't describe the undercarriage, basically. So I didn't pick up the contrasty, dark kind of undercarriage with paler. Oh, what's that up there? So I love these kind of open areas with scattered scrub. You can just imagine a red-backed or woodchat shrike sitting on these isolated clumps and hunting on the path here for ground beetles or catching bees and wasps out of the air. I wonder if they used to breed here. Probably. It's just superb shrike habitat. I think this is probably the narrowest part of the undercliff. So Bonchurch is quite a narrow section, and I've often sat on Leeson Road just down there and done Viz-migging, and I should imagine just up here, I've never tried it actually in autumn, but just up here on this kind of south facing slope you could do some superb Viz-mig counts, probably better than Leeson Road, not least because there are no cars up here to drown out the tree pipits or whatever. But you could just imagine sitting up on this grassy slope, kind of looking south over the undercliff, counting the swallows and alba wags and siskins and goldfinch flocks piling through. They tend to go coast here, so either east or west along the coastline, rather than in and out to sea and in. The meadow pipits obviously come in. And these gardens here, so along here somewhere is where I had that singing rosefinch. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Like I say, I was with another birder who couldn't hear it, so such is life. These little tiny kind of folds, kind of little glens in the face of the downs here can be really good for migrants. Obviously earlier in the year, it's late May, so it's a bit late now. It's Bonchurch again. Best avoided from a birding point of view. Quite why I've not had an alpine swift hunting along here yet. It's beyond me, probably because nobody comes up here and looks for them. I certainly don't. It's the goat. Again in autumn, these trees all the way along the edge are really good for spotted flycatchers in the autumn. Come on, Mr. Shrike, where are you? Another good thing about this spot is there are no other humans. So I've encountered one dog walker in the last 40 odd minutes since I came up here. Lovely old guy. Just walked that way just a minute ago. Haven't encountered many birds, to be honest, but you know, loads of butterflies. It's great up here for Adonis blues and chalk hill blues, marbled white when they come out. I don't think they're out yet, but superb chalk grassland for all the usual chalk grassland specialists. Magic. Seem to have encountered a herd of goats, if you get herds. Is that what they congregate in? Herds? There's a baby one there. They're proliferating. So as far as I can tell, these things are mainly nibbling the rougher grasses and bramble and that kind of stuff, rather than the flowers. Everything's still flowering beautifully, so I don't think they're targeting the flowers, which is what sheep would do. So top marks for that, Mr. Goats. Lovely rock rose. So I hope you're enjoying this video about Ventnor and the Undercliff. If so, then don't forget there are 2 books that I've written. One, Bird Watching Around Ventnor, creatively named, and the second one is Wildlife Watching Around Ventnor. Just short books about the local area that are the subject of this video. Available on Amazon. I'll put a link below this video, and you can also order it from the library, and it's available in all major bookshops, both of these little booklets, and in a few shops along the Esplanade, like the Longshoremen's Museum and Lady Scarlett's Tea Room as well. But yeah, I'll put a link to the description if you want a slightly deeper dive into the Isle of Wight Undercliff. Then these 2 little booklets might be of interest to you. Just go onto Amazon otherwise and just search for Steve Jones and Ventnor and you should find them.